Hi, this is the short movie for the movie poster project that has to do with cutting elements out of the background. And as you can see on my main poster, I'm just going to go through my layers really quick. I have a text layer, which I'll leave off right now, okay? And we're going to go through that in a short movie later, but I have the graphics layer, which I'm going to leave off. And then I have Nikki, who is on the bottom right. I have the left Jason, which is the main character here. I have Colonel Eric Byer, who is going to appear in my movie from the Bourne Legacy. And then I have Paris, who is the background back here, which is actually Marie and Jason. Okay, and then I have the Jason upper left one, and then I have the sky in the background. Okay, now what I wanted you to see after I turn all those on is that if I didn't cut out the elements nicely, like I'll zoom in on this, if I didn't cut out the elements nicely, like leaving the hair on Marie and then leaving a soft edge around all the elements, okay, especially Nikki, I wanted her to have a really nice cutout around her hair. Well, how do you do that? How do you get Photoshop to do it quickly and efficiently is the point. So what I've done, and look at how nicely Nikki is cut out, okay? So what I've done is I've created my separate files on that. Now I'm going to hit Command tilde, which is above the Tab key, and I'm going to go to the Nikki one, and I'm going to show you what I've done on all of these files. And I'm going to start with Nikki. I'm going to go back down to the main image that I had for Nikki, which was this one, okay? And you never hurt an original, so you always simply just duplicate that layer, okay? So now I'm going to work on a duplicated layer, and I'm going to leave the white background back here so when I cut her out, I don't have to deal with a checkerboard. But I'm going to turn on her image that I cut out, and I'm going to show you what I've done. Now I knew I was going to have her against a dark background, so I left a little bit of those pixels right there. Now how did I do that? How did I get that to work out really well? What I did was I created a path, which I'm going to turn down the element here so you can see that I have just turned down the background. And I created a path. I want to click here and click on the path, not the channel. And on the path, let me turn off this element here, or turn down Nikki. I want to turn down Nikki, and then take the P key and turn on the path. Okay, so I did a path around her shape that looked just like that. Now maybe if I put that back up at 100%, you can see that better. Do you see that path that I'm going to highlight that I drew around her shape? And I'm going to talk more about paths in the other thing, in the other files, okay? And where to actually draw the path. Now what I did was I drew it where I could see it the best. Now how did I actually see that the best? If I click away from that, you can see that's very difficult to see. I'll click away from the path, you can't even see the edge. Well, what I did was I created another layer of the same thing you're looking at, and I really leveled it off. Okay, you see how I took it and I made it really, really bright. The only reason I made it really bright was to see the edge of her coat and to see where her back and the background separated. So now I'll click on the path, I'll hit the P key, and I'll highlight the points so you can see it. But that's how I actually drew it. So I went like this, and I turned off this, I duplicated this, I'll throw it away in a second, and then I took the duplicated one and hit Command L, and I took the levels over here and I really lightened it up. Look, I just lightened it up considerably, and I took this one way over to here. Now obviously I wouldn't be using this for any other purpose but for just cutting out or identifying where the path was supposed to be. So I'll cancel it and I'll Command Z back so I only have that one layer. Now what do? Okay, I make a selection of this element. So pretend I had nothing over here like I have right now, and I'm going to remake this, okay? So you see how I incorporate two paths together to make, I incorporate two shapes together to make one saved selection. So I'm going to click away from it or back up to here. So what I did was I made a selection of that path. Okay, I went to which is Shift F6. I went to select, modify, feather by 2 pixels. So now I have a nice soft edge around this. Okay, but I didn't worry about her face, as I said before. So I went to select, save selection, and I'll call it Nikki 2. Now in Nikki 2, look at how I have this. Now what do I do? Well, now I have to actually create the hair part of this. Okay, so what I did was I found out which one of these channels had the best contrast in her hair. Which one showed the best hair? Well, it's obviously not the blue channel, it's not the green channel, it's the red channel. So what I did was I created a new channel. So I made a copy of the red channel right there. Now on the red channel down here, I get to do anything I want to with it. So I'm going to deselect the selection, okay, and now I'm going to hit Command L again. Now my job is to fill in everything here with white and let her hair be white and the background be black. So let me move this over slightly. So what I did was I raised up the white so it became whiter, and I made the black somewhat blacker, but I didn't want to lose this part of her hair here, so I moved the element. You see how now I'm showing more of the hair by taking the middle part over here? Now I'm going to raise the white up even harder. Okay, now do you see what I just did there? Now I almost have her hair done. Look at how beautiful this part of her hair where I'm showing it is against the black background. It's amazing. So let me click OK. Now take your B key, and then you have to deal with black and white, right? So in this case, I'm going to paint at 100% of the flow, hit the return key, and I want the hardness of the brush to be almost all the way hard. Not quite all the way hard, but almost all the way hard. Now your job is to fill in the rest of the hair. So I'm going to come close to the edge, and I'm just going to come close to here. I'll feather the brush in a minute, okay? But look at how I'm filling in all the rest of her detail in her face. Now I'm going to come and I'm going to feather this edge. I don't want to damage what I've done over there, but I'm going to come like this and I'm going to feather that edge. Now I'm in a minute. Now I'm going to go to a softer brush, okay? Softer brush. Now I don't want the flow to blast its way in there, so let me go to about 10 on the flow. Now look at how I'm going to take a soft brush and I'm going to reduce the amount of hardness on the edge here, where I can just add a little feathering to my own between the white hard edge and her gray of her hair. I'm actually feathering that back. Now look at how nice that is turning out. Okay, now let's do the same thing on this side, and let's just be patient. Okay, just be patient with it. Now do you see how quick this is though? I mean, it's amazing when you know how to work with channels, just how quick that is. Let's get a little bit more going on here on the top, just a little bit more going on here. Now watch what we're going to do to this, a little bit more on the side here. So what I want is I want to take the rest of this, I want to take what I see here, and I want to paste this inside this channel right here. So what I need to do is fill in the rest of this with black. So let's go back up to 100%. Let's right hand click and go back to dark right here. Okay. Now, back up to the hardness of the brush. Now let me fill in let me fill in the rest of this with black, even though I probably don't even need it. Whoops, let me hit the X key and fill in this with black, because now I'm not dealing with this part of it. I want to make sure that I fill in all the stuff that's around the hair right in here. You see how I'm making that perfect right there? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth between the two channels. Now do you see how I have plenty of neck and chin area? Okay, so what I have to do is grab a lasso of just her head. Okay, so I'm going to go click back up to the RGB image, and then I'm going to take the lasso and I'm going to grab around this part, and if I have to get a little bit more, that's fine. But look at how I'm going to grab around this section right here, right there. Now, what I'm going to do is click to the new channel. Now all I'm going to do here is hit Command C. Now I'm actually going to add, well, that section right there should just be her chin. Let's see how it works out. Now, this is the cool part about Photoshop, okay? I can hit Command C on this. So I'm copying her hair from the duplicated red channel. I'm going to click to the Nikki 2 channel. I'm going to hit Command V to paste. That's it. That's amazing. Okay, now I've lost a little bit of the hair on her neck here, so I'm going to have to do something about that. And let me go back to the red, to the channel that I just got, and you see how I messed up that little part right there? Now watch what I do. I'm going to deselect, and I'm going to grab that little neck area right there, and now work it like this. Now I'm going to hit Command C again. I'm going to click back up to the Nikki 2 copy, and I'm going to hit Command V. Now look at how I just pasted that in there. And look at how nice that is. Now obviously I need to fix where her neck came in here, and let me see what I did on my actual one. Okay, I actually brought it up a little higher. I actually like the new one I just made. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'm going to make it get really small, and I'm going to join this neck into that neck. Okay, so watch, I'm just going to grab the black. So I'm painting with black. You can see I'm painting with black, right? So I'm going to right hand click and make it be just a little bit more feathered, and then I'm just going to hand paint that line down her neck like this, and I'm just going to hand paint it. Now I could obviously take a layer mask, and I can fix this at the end when I get her into that other image without a problem. Now let me take the white. So I hit the X key. Let's go over to here and make it softer. Now let's not blast it in at 100%. Let's go like to 10%, and let me make the brush a little bit bigger. Now look at, I just have to paint that out and make it white. Now that was beautiful. That was incredible. Now let's cut out Nikki from the background. Okay, so now I have a brand new channel. It's only for the purpose of the saved selection. Now you saw how I made that path on the bottom and I filled it with white. Then I duplicated the red channel and I made this. Then I just took a lasso and I went around this whole image just like this. Okay, I should have grabbed that neck area right like this, and then I just grabbed it, but I actually wanted to cut through this white area. So I'm going to take the lasso with the Option key, and I'm going to subtract this out of the image right here. So that is what I need to subtract out of the image. Now I took that and I went Command C, then I went to this one and I pasted it, Command V. Now all I have to do is make a selection of this. So now there's my selection. I just command clicked on the selection. That's amazing, isn't it? Now let me click up to this image right here. See how I click to it? Now let me hit Command J. Now look, I cut her out of the background. Now all I have to do is take this layer and duplicate it to my poster. So I right hand click, duplicate the layer to my poster. Now it's on the poster. Now I save this file. Okay, I'm going to hit Command tilde, which is above the tab key, and I'm going to go to my poster. Now there's the new Nikki. Now you can see how I actually added a little bit more of her body down here just by drawing a little bit more on the Nikki layer. Okay, I should zoom in and show you what I just meant there. So what I'm going to do is open the Nikki layer, and here is Nikki, and then you see how I just added her little body right there? Okay, wasn't a big deal, I just added it. Now let me take this new, let me turn off the old Nikki layer, and let's just put in the new Nikki layer. So let's go over here and hit the V key and put her down here, and look at how well she fits in that image. Look at how gorgeous she is in there. Now, depending on where you put her in the layer, you're ready to go. So now let me throw away that layer. Now, I did the same thing for Marie and Jason. Okay, I used their hair. Now let me go to the Marie and Jason file. So let me Command tilde to that one. And you can see what I've done here. Here's the original image. See how I used my technique of taking that image and using Content Aware to get rid of this. So I'm going to duplicate that very quickly. All right. Now I have 2 of them. Now my job is to get rid of the Matt Damon and the line. I'm going to do it one at a time. I take the M key, I marquee a little, I have to make sure it's in the rectangular marquee. Let me deselect. Okay, let's, first things first, but I'm not going to take long to do this. I'm going to marquee that little part of the Matt Damon. Let's go to Shift F5, which is content aware. Okay, right. It's in fill, so Shift F5, which I'm going to hit right now, okay? Shift F5. I'm going to fill with content aware, and you can see how it just covers that right up. Now, your job is to go in and use content aware to get rid of anything else you don't want, because sometimes finding the reference is really hard to do. It took me several hours to find the reference for this, okay? Because I wanted to do my own Jason Bourne poster. But anyway, this is what I've turned it into. So you see how I took out all the, see how the rest of that text is left over here? So what I did was, I created this channel. How did I create that channel? All right, I actually drew this path without worrying about their hair. So you can see here how I have just filled in. I'll show you what I've done, okay? It's not even a big deal. I'm going to take and click back up to the RGB image, and then I'm going to hit a command. I'm going to save that selection. So I go to select and save selection. It's the same process. Let's just call this Jason and Marie 5. I don't know why. I'm just going to say it so I don't throw the wrong thing away. So now I have a Jason and Marie 5. Now you see how I've cut them out nicely. Now what I should have done, which I didn't do, I'm going to throw this away because I didn't feather the edge. See how the edge is all hard right there? I'm going to feather that edge by 2 pixels. So I'm going to throw away Jason and Marie 5. I should have thrown that away already. Now I'm going to take the selection and go select, modify, feather by 2 pixels. Now I go to select and save selection, and I'll call it Jason and Marie 5. I don't know. So there's my Jason and Marie 5. Now let's go add the hair to this. So again, we look at their image and we see which one of these has the best contrast. Well, again, it's obviously the red channel. So you duplicate the red channel. Now let me deselect, and then all you have to do is fill it in. Now this is going to be a little tough to understand, but I've got to make sure that they're white. Right now we have black hair against a gray background, but I'm going to invert this in a minute. And then I'm only going to take the hair part and then I'll fix it. Now here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to take Command L on this brand new channel, and I'm going to darken the hair and lighten the background. Now all I have to do is hit Command I on this, and look, I already have their hair done. There it is right there. Do you see that? Now I go a little bit more. I'll go a little bit more. I'll go a little bit more. But now you got to be careful how far you go. I don't want to lose all the pretty hair on Jason, and I don't want to lose all the pretty hair on Marie. So I click OK. Now I'm going to fill her head in with black, but then I'm going to hit Command I to invert it in a few minutes. Okay, and then I'm going to use his hand and that area on across his face, and then right around his hairline. I don't care about the hairline on the outside. So I know it's hard to understand, but I'm going to take the B key, I'm going to make the brush bigger, and now I'm going to take at 100%, and I'm going to switch between a hard brush and a soft brush. All right, but I'm going to hit the X key, and you can see how I'm going to go more to a harder brush. Now let's go into Marie. Your job is to just paint her in black. Now let's come real close to where his hand is, right there. Okay, that's good. That's good. I love what I've just done. Now I'm filling in all her outer hair. Okay, that's it. That's all it took. Now let's go to Jason and fill out all his hair. I don't care about the hair on his head. I just care about that hair right there. Now I want to take white and come out to the background with white. Okay, so I hit the X key, and I come as close to the hairline as I want to here. Look at how I'm just coming real close. It's not damaging anything. I'm just going to come out here like this, leave those little hairs like that. Now let's come across Jason. Don't touch his outer part of his hair, but all you have to do now is just grab this part right here. I'm letting go of my brush every couple of seconds, and now you can see how I've got that nicely cut out right there. I'll get a little smaller on Jason, and I'll get a little closer to the edge of his head, but I want to leave some of this selection. Now remember, I'm putting white out here, but eventually it's going to be black, right? All I have to do is hit Command I to invert. Now look at how quick that was. Let's go around the back of her head. Just a little bit down here, a little bit here. Okay, let me just come real close, and let's just leave that, okay? Because I can actually do something in Photoshop to help that. Now, I only care about this part of their body, okay? I don't care about anything else. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually hit the X key, and I'm going to put black down her forehead here, because eventually it's going to turn white right when I hit Command I. And let me put black down his forehead, right where they're going to kiss, where their noses touch. Okay, good. Okay, that's all I care about, the image right there. Now watch what I do. I'm going to take this and hit Command I right now. There is my selection. Isn't that amazing? Now let's take Command L. I'm sorry, just the L. I meant just the lasso. Now let's lasso right around the edge of her hair, come way into the black area, come right around here, come right around Jason's head. Let's just grab this right across here, right at the back of his neck where his hair matches up. Let's come right around here. Let's come right around here. Right back where I was on the edge of his hand right here. Now you see that selection right there? I don't want this part right there. I could just hold the Option key and get rid of this part right there, okay? Which was a very quick thing. Now let's hit Command C. Let's click to the silly one right here. Now look how I'm just going to hit Command what? V, and there's their hair. I mean, that is amazing. That's amazing, 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 amazing. Now look over here. Look at how I can take this area. I don't want to lose anything else, so I'm going to quickly lasso an area right like this. Look what I'm going to do here. Quickly lasso that. Now I'm going to hit Command L, and look at how just in that area I can raise the black up so this gets blacker inside of here. Look, see? Look, I'm not damaging anything else on her head but that much right there. Now again, I have where this is kind of weird here, but that's, you can get rid of that on a layer mask when we actually cut her out. Well, let's do the cutting out, okay? So let's click, I would save the file right now. Let's click back up to the RGB image. Let's make a selection of this new one that I just had, which was right here. So I'm going to Command click on it to make a selection, but I'm clicking back up here. Now let's go over here to my cutout layer, all right, right there, to the layer I'm going to cut out, the one I retouched. And let's hit a Command J. Now look what I got. I've got them cut out of the background beautifully, incredibly. Now how long would that have taken you to get that hair perfect? It's like magic. So now let's right hand click and let's send them to the layer we have, which was my poster. Now I would save this file, but I'm going to go Command tilde to the poster. And now here are them cut out of the background. Now on my little file here, I'm going to turn off the text layer and I'm going to zoom in. Look at that area that was awkward right here. Okay, that means that I've kind of, you know what I did? I cut off part of Jason's hand, and I really didn't want to do that. So what I did was I damaged his hand. I can't get his hand back. I have to go back to the other one and get his hand. I'm actually glad I did that. I'm going to delete that layer right there. And now I'm going to go back to the layer, Command tilde, that I just messed up. Whoops. Command tilde, whoops, I'm hitting the wrong button. Command tilde back to this one. Now I'm going to throw away this layer that I just made in this other one. I'm going to turn on the white background. I'm going to turn on the layer that I wanted to get in the first place, and look at how I messed up his hand. So what I'm going to do is, and this is where you get really good at your channels, all right? I'm going to move this path down and I'm going to show more of this channel, but here's the one I just cut out. Now what I need to do is leave it selected. Do you understand? I need to leave this one selected because I'm going to paint where I'm going to fix his hand black on the outside, white on the inside. But if I turn on the eyeball for this layer right here, I'm going to change the color of this selection from purple, because this is a warm background, to green. I'm going to go into green because green is so much different than the rest of the file. I'm going to put it up to 30%. So you see how I have green out there. Okay, do you see how the green is really the black? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm painting on the channel, but I'm toggling the eyeball off this image. Now all I have to do is take my paintbrush, and instead of painting black, I need to hit the X key because I need to actually, I need to hit the X key and paint white. If I paint white on this part over here, I'll remove the black that's in the background, right? So look at how now I have quickly fixed that area right here, and now that's perfect. See? Now that's all the fix I needed, but I needed part of his hand or the image won't look good. Okay, so now I turn off the eyeball for this. I fixed that area over where his hand is. I make a selection of it again. I click back up to the RGB image. I click over to my layer and hit Command J. Now when I turn this off, you can see that I have his hand all cut out. Okay, now let's right hand click and quickly send this one to my poster, and then we'll go Command tilde over here to the poster, and there they are. Now with the V key, you can see how I can take this, hit Command T, hold the Shift key, and put them in here any size and any way I want, and then I just layer mask them. See how I layer mask them over here, and I just vignetted the bottom? So look, I'll put them down in the dark area. Look at how beautiful that looks, but they look actually better in the light area. Let me turn off all the other elements of this file. Let me turn off the graphics. Let me turn off JSON. Oops, I have to accept the transformation. And now I'm turning off the entire everything in the background. And now look at how pretty they look against the background. Look at how amazing that looks. Let me hit Command T and make them bigger, which, by the way, I really shouldn't have done that. This is not a smart object, but they're still a pretty good res. So now look at how I can move them around the background, and look at how nice their edges look. Look at how nice their hair looks on the edge. It looks like she was shot against that background. This is what I wanted. I wanted Jason's little hairs to be beautiful there on his head, but I didn't want to have to actually cut them out. Now I did the same thing if I turn off this image. I did the same thing when I took the left Jason down here. Okay, I took his hair in the same way. I'm not going to show it anymore. I did the same thing with Colonel Byer. Okay, I took his hair from the one file. You can see how nicely his hair looks in there. Okay, so what I want you to do is prepare your images. I'll turn everything else back on so you can see everything else that I have in here, and here is the rest of my file with the graphics, with the text, and there it is. So your job is to go through all your assets. Let me hit Command here. I cut out him from the background. Here is the final one that I had here. Now all I had to do was hit Command I to invert that, right? Command I to invert it. Look, you can just go like this because you need black on the outside, white on the inside. So all you did was, Brian, you took a path and you just pathed him out. And then on this one, actually, it was much easier. It was much easier on this one. I probably should show you. But I took his one with the most contrast. In this case, it was this one right here. This one has the most dark against the most light. So I took the blue channel, duplicated it, hit Command L. I'm almost done. Look, raise the white up, raise the black up. There's his cutout. There it is, right there. Look at how gorgeous that is. Now all you have to do is take your black, right hand click and go almost all the way hard. Make sure this is at 100% and make your brush big. Let's zoom in and now paint him out. Just paint him out. So you can come real close to the edge here, like that. Look at how quickly I've just painted out his entire face and his ear. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's amazing. Look at this one's all ready. All you have to do now is paint out the white background, fill in his hand area. Okay, I should I don't know why I'm keeping on working. But you can see how nicely this is actually filling in this area. I need to get in his little thumb there, and I need to fill it out really good. And remember, I only want this to come into the background really nice. Now look how nice I've got that. Now all I have to do is make sure the white out here is white. So I take my big brush, I hit the X key, and look, I just paint white. Now I'll take the time in a few minutes to get close to his edge, but you don't have to get that close to his edge. Look at how nice this is turning out. Look at how fast I've actually cut him out of this background, because it was a good background to begin with, and look at how nice that is. Now I'll hit Command L again on it, and I'll just raise up the white a little bit to make it cleaner. And there's his cutout. Now if I hit Command I, he's already cut out. So if I make a selection of that, Command click, then click up to the RGB image, then hit Command J, look at how I have him cut out of that background really fast. Now that's pretty amazing. Okay? So your job is to cut out your elements so that you can have them all prepared for your movie. Go on to the next movie.